Okay. I'm going to see how this goes. There for a second. I had those little funny face things on there, and I couldn't make it stop, so that was interesting. I am seeing if I can actually be live on my phone and see it on my laptop. So we'll see how that works. We'll let it have a few minutes to get everybody on board. How is everybody doing this morning? It's sunny out. And, okay, maybe I can do this. Okay. I can see myself on the camera and see myself on the laptop, and it looks like I'm kind of crazy here. Okay. So, we're going to get everybody loaded for a little while this morning, and so I'm going to take just a minute to wait while everybody gets on board, and then I will start and hope that everybody is enjoying Facebook Live and church in your pajamas. If that's what you have on this morning, it's perfectly okay. Just don't post any pictures, maybe, if you're not fully clothed. The last time we did a pajama Sunday, it was in January. So I was trying to make sure that everybody had their clothing on if they came to church. So it's good to see you this morning. It's good to be here. It's good to find a way to do spiritual community in a new way, in a very different way. So let's just go ahead and take a breath, gently breathing in, allowing Spirit to breathe us this morning. Allowing Spirit to be us this morning. We feel that activity of Spirit connecting us, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. We know that we are one in spirit. We are community. Outside the seats in the sanctuary, we remain Unity of Lehigh Valley, a spiritual community shining its light into the world. And so it is. Amen. So I can hear Raymond barking in the other room. I took the precaution of having him in the living room and shutting the bedroom door so he can't be as close to the microphone. But I can't rule out Facebook Live events, such as there's a window behind me, so if a car honks in the parking lot, that's just evidence that this is Facebook Live. So let's begin, as we often do, with our affirmations, our unity affirmations. There is only one power and one presence, active in my life and in the universe. God the good, omnipotence. our vision for the world. United. No, our vision for the world. We co-create an awakened world of peace, harmony, and abundance. And our mission, what is ours to do? United in love, we provide a positive environment for all people to discover and express their spiritual nature. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing on Facebook Live. That's what we're doing in the videos that we've posted on YouTube. Creating a positive environment that honors the distance, that is helpful for our health, and yet also honors our need to be in spiritual community, our need to remember our spiritual nature in the midst of all that humanity is unfolding right now. So I want to read our daily word. And the daily word for Sunday, March the 22nd, is power. It's interesting always that our daily words are usually written about 6 months in advance. So no one had any idea what would be unfolding in the world when we did this. Power. I take dominion over my thoughts, words, and actions. I take dominion over my thoughts, words, and actions. The power of God protects me. Today I hear with renewed understanding this line from James Dillett Freeman's Prayer for Protection. In a growing awareness of oneness with my source, I realize that the power of God works through me and as me, rather than simply in me or for me. I embody divine power by choosing words that affirm the truth that I am a spiritual being as I navigate the valleys and peaks of my human experience. By expressing my power, I am claiming dominion over my words and thoughts. I affirm statements of truth while releasing negative thoughts and ideas. I think and speak with the authority of my Christ presence. And from 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter and the 7th verse. For God did not give us a power of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and of love and of self-confidence. So, here we are, week 2 of our Facebook Live experience of Unity of Lehigh Valley. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. I know that some of you are posting how you're doing, and that's great. Today's sermon is about the questions that you submitted, and mostly submitted. I apologize, but my allergies are causing a little drippiness this morning, and life goes on. The pollen from the trees is abundantly present, so it just is what it is. The questions that I'm going to try to answer are not all the questions I got, but I hoped that they were the most relevant to what we're going through. And so I'm going to start with, why does change feel so hard? Well, I think how change feels depends on our comfort level. Daylight saving time feels hard to me because it totally throws off my biorhythm. It disrupts my sleep cycle And frankly, it just feels unnatural. On the other hand, when I used to do shift work at the hospital, I experienced a change. And most people prefer the day shift, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I did that for a while. And when I changed to the evening shift, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., it was not hard. It was perfect because I was young and I loved to stay up at night. So when we move from comfortable to uncomfortable, we aren't happy. Doesn't feel good. It feels hard. And sometimes we resist change because it isn't familiar. But then once we get comfortable with the change, we wonder how we could get along without it. My mom is 91, and now she's 1,000 miles away. She moved back to Kansas City, and frankly, she gets a little anxious because I'm not there. And she's learning. So we talk on the phone, on her little flip phone, but I can't really see how she's doing. So this week, I went into her Gmail account and I set up video chat through the Gmail mechanism, Google mechanism of Duo. It took some doing. And I called her flip phone and I walked her through opening up the video chat. Eureka! She was so excited. Asking her to do a video chat seemed hard, and she was resistant. And she didn't really want to do it. But now, she's pretty happy with it. We did a video chat yesterday. And even though there's some bumps still, she's getting the hang of it. And she enjoys the video chat. So whatever the change is, we have to find our own way of getting comfortable with it. So how do we avoid the trap of comparing the new to the past? Well, there's one word: awareness. We have to be aware that we're doing comparisons, and we have to be aware of how we're doing those comparisons. Since the past is gone, if we like the new better than the past, then comparison isn't a problem. Unless you eventually grow tired of the new. And then you go back to comparing to the past. Comparisons in general aren't helpful because you have what you have. And some part of the comparison involves the present. And some part of the comparison involves something that isn't the present. Where do we have our power? In something that isn't the present or in the present? So stay aware of your tendency to go into comparison. And there's a couple things that you can do. Practice empathy with the present. Try to figure out how you could be supportive in the present. That may mean the people that you're with right now in this present awkward transition. It might mean a new minister in the future. It might mean being present with an interim or guest speakers or the board trying to lead through a time of transition. Ask how you can be supportive. Connect with who and what is present by engaging in the activities and the conversations that are unfolding. Being connected is what gets us out of comparison. challenge yourself to see the good in what is present. So, I'm going to move on to our next question. Why does God, Spirit seem closer and more real when you are mad at him, her, it? Well, I suppose because when you are mad, you are engaged. Often we allow Spirit to become distant and separate. And when we aren't actively thinking about Spirit, it can become a vague, ambiguous idea that we aren't really feeling very connected to. Even in gratitude, we can disengage from Spirit and get lost in connecting with the things that we are listing or focusing on. Anger is a high energy emotion, not a high vibration, but a high energy. And we aren't well trained in moving our energy into high vibration emotions like love or zeal or enthusiasm. But anger tends to get our juices flowing, which causes us to open in ways that we have distanced ourselves from. And there Spirit goes, working its way in the crack that we have made in our shield, in the barrier that we've created out of our distance. And so anger opens us and Spirit moves in, and then we have to examine our feelings and beliefs. What exactly is it that we're mad about? Is what we're mad about really God or Spirit? If it doesn't feel like love, it's not God. God is love. One power, one presence. Remember, we just affirmed that. Usually, we are mad because what is present, as we just talked about, does not suit us. It's not what we wanted. It's not familiar. It's not meeting our expectations. So how do we make peace with what is present in the temporary world and open up to more connection to the real nature of Spirit? First, I think we have to discern that just because God is everywhere present, God doesn't cause every condition we see. God doesn't manipulate the manifest world. We do. And with our thoughts and beliefs, we shape the manifest world. Once we get the distinction between presence and cause, we have to evaluate and repeatedly reevaluate our perceptions of the nature of whatever it is that we call God or Spirit or the divine. Every time we get off track, because we're mad about the nature of the divine, we have to find our way back to center, usually with some new insight or perception about that nature. And with each return, maybe we can stay closer to God without being mad. Once we discover and rediscover and remember the true nature of God, we can recenter in that knowing, in that presence, without being mad. So the next question: how can I grieve in a healthy way? Well, go back to the first 3 sessions on engaging change, endings, and the void. Depending on where we are in the process, our healthy responses may shift a bit. Having said that, I feel like there are some universal ideas. The first thing is change is normal. Grief is normal. And both are phenomena of the temporary conditions of our humanity. And while we work on accepting the feelings around change and grief, we have to remember that we are more than our humanity. We are still spiritual beings. And because they're normal, we can't avoid or discount change or grief. We also should not feel shame about our humanity and try to cut ourselves off from feeling our humanity. For whatever reason, our human experience is a part of our spiritual journey, and we are meant to hold our duality in balance, as Jesus demonstrated. Loving the ability to love means enduring the human emotions around loss. They're two sides of the same coin. So, feeling the feelings and grounding ourselves in the I am of our spiritual nature. Find the practices that support you the most when feelings overwhelm. It might be a walk, might be a candle meditation, a journal practice, a mindfulness exercise. Let the feelings wash over you and let them go. Feel the feelings, but don't cling to them. Don't get stuck in them. Let change be change, and endings be endings, and sadness be sadness. A lot of our unhappiness is trying to change what is, or resist what is, or deny what is. One of the most helpful things that we can do is make peace with what is. Resistance and denial are ways that tie us to what we're trying to avoid. So they leave us stuck in what it is we don't like. We can't reverse change, so the best path forward is forward. Ironic how that works, isn't it? The best path forward is forward. And this last universal idea is totally up in the face of humanity right now. Be okay in the mystery of not knowing. What? Be okay in the face of the mystery of not knowing. The whole world right now wonders what is ending. How long is the void? And what comes next? As humans, our inclination is to go to fear and to protect ourselves against what could go wrong. So far, this has led us to hoarding, blaming each other, acting in ways that are hurtful. As spiritual beings, our inclination is to move to possibilities. What valuable lessons could we learn? What skills and insights are we gaining? At this point in ministry, nearing retirement, I did not anticipate learning a lot of new skills about technology and how to do Facebook Live and how to get videos onto YouTube, and what did it mean to create spiritual community without any physical presence. So, new skills and insights. What transformation is unfolding? When nothing is certain, everything is possible. When nothing is certain, everything is possible. Have you seen some of the videos of people singing on balconies? Have you seen some of the resources about virtual tours that are being posted? Even a live cam on a bird feeder. Everything remains possible. On every continent, people are learning to wash their hands and to care for one another. There is scary stuff and there is wonderful stuff. We choose, going forward, what we focus on. There's a question. A new question. Some are still grieving Wilma. How do we move forward and help each other? I think I talked about grief being cumulative in one of the sermons before. And I talked about every ending triggers grief. That includes all the unfinished business of the endings before the one that we're currently in. Back-to-back significant losses can trigger overwhelming feelings. So I think the first thing to notice is how grief is impacting our thoughts and actions. If we find ourselves overwhelmingly angry, or sad, or fearful, or depressed, it might be helpful to say out loud, "That's the grief talking." Things will change. We will find a new way forward. And going forward, we will carry the best with us. When they made the movie, The Shack, apparently they asked a bunch of people to write songs. The music that's on the soundtrack album, for the most part, isn't in the movie. But there are several songs that I really like. And one of them is by Kelly Clarkson and Aloe Black. Not a likely pair, but it works. It works in this song. The song is called Love Goes On. And here's the refrain. There ain't nothing so broken, love can't heal, I feel. Every day I grow older, time reveals, nothing's really gone. We bring the past along, and love goes on. Nothing's really gone. We bring the past along, and love goes on. In my grief work, I found that although we bring the past along, we can choose how that past comes along. It can come along as a wounding, as a deep sorrow, or a resentment. Or if I choose to do the forgiveness and peace work, I bring the best along. I bring the love, I bring the lessons, I bring the gifts along. So we turn our attention to honoring the love that goes on. How do we want to honor what it meant to have Wilma in our community and all the love she shared? In the future, you may ask, how do we want to honor what it meant to have Rev Joy in our community and the love she shared? How do we support one another? Well, we ask each other the questions, and we listen to one another. I think that's how we move forward. Knowing nothing's really gone, we bring the best along, and love goes on. That's all for my answers today. I have a couple more questions, and they may be a sermon in April. Next week, we'll talk about new beginnings. Even if we are still in the midst of the void of COVID-19, still in the midst of the void of distancing, quarantine, containment, whatever we want to call this time of not gathering in our sanctuary. So, as we think about some of the answers to the questions about how we bring the best along, I want to take that into meditation for just a minute. And so I invite you to close your eyes and take a couple breaths to gently feel the activity of spirit moving through us. Not just in us, but through us and out into the world. Even as the world feels confined and contained, Spirit moves through us out into the world. We make peace with what is. In this moment, we make peace with whatever conditions are showing up in our world. And from a place of peace, we know that there are infinite possibilities. And so we fix our gaze on what we desire. We tap into the power that is ours to act upon. The power of our thoughts, the power of our words, the power of our kindness and generosity. We allow Spirit to move through us with renewed power. As we know, as we move forward, all the love that we've known, all the change that has unfolded, love goes on. In us and through us, love goes on. And so it is. Amen. So now comes the time in our service where we bless our tithes. Just an opportunity to remind you that you can continue to donate. Unity of Lehigh Valley is committed to paying our staff. We continue to have bills to maintain our building, and you can send your tithes through the mail, through a bill pay system with your church, or through the donate button on our website. So I want to take the opportunity to bless our tithes in the way that we normally do. So just imagine your gift being held. And we know that the activity of Spirit through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. We give thanks in advance for your gifts, and our Wednesday email is kind of becoming our bulletin, and we do reflect our budgeted amount and the amount that's coming in. So if you want to check that out, make sure you subscribe to our Wednesday email. Announcements. For those friends who do not have Facebook, we have a YouTube channel. And you can go to YouTube and subscribe to Unity of Lehigh Valley. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you will get first notice when there's new things posted. We are posting our live videos from Facebook onto our YouTube channel, and we might be developing some special material for our YouTube channel that you can only get if you go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. So there's a little enticement. You can also share our YouTube channel with those who friends that you would like to share our material with who are not on Facebook. I know people have been missing music in this new way of doing community, so on our website and in our Wednesday email, we have access to the ULV playlist that Anthony puts together. Also on our Wednesday email, and if you go and Google, I guess just on the internet, Empower Music, EMPOWER Music has put together a playlist from Empower musicians. Some of your favorites, Karen Drucker, Janice Stanfield, Daniel Nahmod, and so there's access to music that way. A lot of musicians are now doing free concerts on Facebook Live. Daniel Nahmod, I know, has one. Kelly Hunt is kind of one of my favorites. She's a blues and unity person from Lawrence, Kansas, and Saturday nights she has a live Facebook concert at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to put up some links for downloading Zoom, and prayer support and counseling are still available through Zoom. And we're also working on the possibility of next week having a healing service on Zoom. Maggie Schlam has expressed some interest in working on that, so we're going to work on that. And if you did the book study on Zoom, then you already have Zoom. It's free. The download is free, so it's also a great way to connect. We are reassessing on March 30th how we're going to go forward, so stay tuned to all of our communications, and we'll be updating you on what that looks like. And we have added a couple things to our services. On Wednesday at 6 p.m., I'm doing a children's chat. And this week, our children's service will focus on the prayer for protection and expanding that into a personal expression. You don't have to be a child to view our children's chat, but I want to make that available to our young folks. And our Vesper service is at 7 p.m. And we'll be looking at a metaphysical Bible way of pressing reset. Seems to be what's happening in our world. Maybe it's not the first time it's happened, and maybe there's some wisdom in our metaphysical Bible interpretation that will help us get through this reset. So, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you everybody for your comments and connections. I look forward to seeing you again next Sunday. Next Sunday at 10:20, we're going to talk about new beginnings. And we're going to end the way we always end our service. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. May peace prevail in the hearts and minds of all beings. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you back when I see you.